Guys, welcome back to True Crime with Shannon, where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, we got the evil one on the screen right now, thanks to Newsday TV, and she actually admits on the stand that she's evil. Well, she was evil, so let's check out this little video from Newsday TV.
I was wrong. Yes, I was evil. Angela Pollina took the stand in her own defense Tuesday, acknowledging she mistreated the Valva boys. She admitted to putting them in the garage. At one point, she said, I exiled them. But she's pinning the blame for Thomas Valva's hypothermia death solely on her ex-fiancé, Michael Valva, who was convicted of murder last year. On the January morning of Thomas's death, Polina said Valva was angry and said Thomas had had an accident. She said she saw Valva outside with his 8-year-old son with a hose aimed at him, and after that he took him to the garage. He told her Thomas fell and hit his face. She described comforting Thomas, wiping his tears, but didn't think he was in danger. Polina claims Valva carried Thomas down to the basement. She said Thomas was cold and shivering a little bit. She said Valva wanted to put Thomas in the bath to clean him, and she said she told him, do not do that. Polina says she went to get the boy a towel and a heater to warm him up. When she returned, Polina claims she saw Valva taking the boy out of the tub, that, quote, his eyes were closed. She broke down, telling jurors, I called his name out. He didn't answer me. She said she panicked and Valva called 911. Thomas was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The prosecution has said Polina did nothing to help Thomas and that she couldn't stand that Thomas and his brother Anthony suffered from autism. Polina's attorney has finished his direct examination. Next up, the prosecution will question the defendant.
The attorney's very, very good, so it's going to be very difficult for her, but she's going to be honest and say, look, this is what I did and this is what I didn't do.
Meantime, Polina described her ex's temper as going from 0 to 100. She said he could go from being very sweet to irate. Cecilia Dowd for Newsday TV.
All right. So maybe that's the best that we're going to get off of Angela, that she was evil. But as we all know, she's been evil from the get-go. And I still don't believe that she went and got blankets and a heater for little Tommy that day. If she did, it was at the last minute, maybe about the time that she thought he was dead, and she's going, oh crap. So, do I believe she hugged him and tried to help him at all? Hell no. I'm sorry. I don't believe pretty much anything that comes out of that woman's mouth. It's just lies. Truly. The way she treated Tommy and his brothers, it's horrific. It truly, truly is. So let's pull up the rest of the testimony. Today, the cross-examination happened, and we'll see what Kerriann Kelly had to say with her on the stand. So this has been updated, I believe, in the last 10 minutes. Let me check that. All right, it was updated a little before 5 p.m., and as I record this, it's a little bit after 5. And is she wearing the same shirt she wore on last week? I guess she doesn't have many tops. Anywho, Angela Pollina testifies she agreed to send Valva boys to garage the night before Thomas Valva died. All right. Angela Pollina testified she agreed with Michael Valva to banish 8-year-old Thomas Valva and his brother to the garage on the night before Thomas died from hypothermia at her murder trial Wednesday. But she continued to try to blame the ex-NYPD officer for his son's death. During cross-examination of Polina, veteran Suffolk County Prosecutor Kerriann Kelly hit on several key elements to the second-degree murder and child endangerment charges the defendant is facing, getting Polina to say she acted with the boy's father, who was a mother figure in the household and had a duty to care for them. Were you or were you not in agreement with Michael Valva that Thomas and Anthony, as of the date Thomas died, were to sleep in the garage? Kelly asked Polina. I was aware. Yes, Polina said. And you agreed to that? Kelly said. I agreed with him, Polina said. Pollina on trial on charges of second-degree murder and child endangerment for Thomas's death and the alleged abuse of Thomas and his brother Anthony, took the stand Tuesday and declared she was evil. I'm going to continue to agree with you. You are evil. But she attempted to distance herself from Thomas's plight the day he died, saying Valva put him in the garage that night, and when she saw Valva hosing him off outside in the freezing cold the next morning, she was shocked and later tried to help Thomas, she testified. Valva was convicted last year by a Suffolk County jury of murder and child endangerment charges and was sentenced to 25 years to life, and as we know, he's serving it in an upstate prison. Let's see. Supreme Court Justice Timothy Massey stopped Kelly's questioning several times to instruct Pollina, including telling her to wait until Kelly finished her question before answering. I wish they could put this on video. There is a whole thing going on, and I'm going to share that in the information of this video as well, about allowing cameras in these courtrooms, because this trial should have been televised, or at the very least, it should have been able to have a camera in that courtroom. There is no excuse for that. There's just so many problems that there's something wrong that when we can't have transparency in these cases, and it's our right as citizens to be able to see justice prevailing in these trials. When there's an objection, stop talking, Massey told Pollina. Asked whether she had a duty to care for Thomas and Anthony, Pollina said, I did the best I can. I wasn't their biological parent. No, you weren't, and thank God you weren't their mother. Pressed by Kelly to answer yes or no, Pollina repeated herself. I did the best I can with the circumstances I had with Michael. Massey granted Kelly's request to strike Pollina's answers from the record because they were not responsive to the question. Pollina also attempted to shift blame to Valva for the deletion of home surveillance video, even though Pollina was captured on camera telling Valva that she had deleted the footage hours after Thomas died. Yeah, she seems to be wanting to put all the blame on Michael. And she's like, nope, it was Michael. Nope, it was Michael. Nope, it was Michael. BS, honey. We don't believe that. And I'm really, really, really praying that the jury doesn't buy this either. Kelly also called into question Pollina's story, as told to the jury in her direct testimony Tuesday, that she sat on the garage floor and held Thomas and his urine-soaked towel and wiped away his tears on the morning he died. You told this jury that you sat on the urine-soaked garage holding Thomas on your lap, yet you deleted the video that would have shown that? Kelly said, yes, said Pollina. And all that video was video that could have shown what actually happened to Thomas, Kelly continued. Yes, said Pollina. That's because it never happened. She's full of it, and we all know it. You never coddled him, nothing. You did not like Thomas or his brothers. You just didn't like them, and the only reason you maybe did anything that morning to try to scramble to make it look like you cared was because you knew that he was dying. That's the only reason. Kelly, through questioning, pointed out that everyone else in the family slept comfortably inside the warm house. Yeah, even the dog. While Thomas and Anthony were in the freezing garage. Did you and Michael ever give the garage a try? Kelly asked sarcastically. No, Pollina replied. Yeah, I still think they ought to put him in there for one night. But that's not going to happen, unfortunately. You were the only mother figure in their life, isn't that right? Kelly asked. Yes, Pollina said. And sadly, that's true because of Michael. That's the one thing I'll give to her. It's Michael's fault that she was the only mother figure because Michael took those boys away from their mother, Justina. She was trying everything she could to get those boys back. Asked about her time working as a hospital biller, Kelly inquired whether the experience had informed her knowledge of the effects of hypothermia, in a nod to when Pollina was captured on audio the morning of Thomas's death, saying he was suffering from hypothermia. Is that where you learned the term hypothermia? Kelly asked. I guess, Pollina said before explaining that she considers it another word for cold and had previously used it in the context of her daughter's swimming. Asked why she deleted the video, Pollina replied, I did it for the both of us. Confronted with text messages, including a March 2019 text that Pollina sent to Valva saying, I'm not feeding nobody. I'm done with the stupidity of your children. Pollina explained that she was angry, but claimed she had actually fed the children. I don't buy it. Polina also denied that she instructed Thomas and Anthony to call their mother, Justina Zubko-Valva. Mommy used to be. Now that makes me angry, and I'm sure Justina is fuming. Polina also disputed testimony from a plumber who said he saw Polina throw one of the boys down the stairs. During the exchange with Kelly, the judge told Polina, "Wait until the question is finished, please." Polina said she had committed the act on another day when the plumber wasn't there. "There was a day when I did, yes," Polina said. The cross-examination is continuing on Wednesday afternoon. So again, there's going to be some more added to this article after I finish this video, so we'll have to grab the rest of that. But we can all see where this is going. She seems to like to admit, oh, yeah, I was an evil witch, okay, all the time, except the day Thomas had hypothermia and Thomas died because, you know what? That's all Michael's fault. Yeah, no. I don't buy it for a damn second. So she's full of it, and we all know it. And again, thank the Lord that all these kids are in a better place right now, with the girls with their her biological girls are with their fathers, and the two other boys are with their mom, Justina. It's just horrifically sad that it cost little Tommy his life, because it shouldn't have. None of this should have ever happened. And again, I have to remind folks, Tommy asked for help to CPS directly, and that just sticks with me. It just sticks in my head constantly. That little 8-year-old boy asked for help, and you know what? The state did nothing for him. They did nothing. The question is, does that have to do with the fact that because of Michael being the NYPD officer, or did it have to do with a combination of Michael and Angela? Then we have the whole trafficking SA situation, and I don't know how much that ties into it, because again, there's that whole other angle of things. But the bottom line is, there's so many gaps in this case. There's just so many gaps, and I guess they're finishing up today. They would have finished up probably cross-examining her. I don't know if Toohey was able to come back and question her again. So my assumption is that closing arguments are going to be tomorrow, which is Thursday, and then the jury's going to have the case either Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. So again, I think that this is too quick. I completely agree with Justina on that. You're talking 2 weeks, a 2-week trial. And really, last week was only 4 days. So if you end tomorrow, you're talking really 8 full days. So, yeah. I'm going to just pray and hope that this jury is seeing right through this woman on the screen. Because, she's horrific. And I hope that they see that she's saying she was evil. No, you are evil. There's no before. There's evil, period, Angela. It's just not over. And the only reason you're hoping that the jury is going to buy that you've changed, or that, oh, I didn't have anything to do with that day, buying the story that your attorneys decided to go on, is so that you don't have to go back to jail and sit there for the next 25 years to life. So we all just need to pray that the jury sees through this charade and gives her the same exact sentencing. Well, gives her the guilty verdict, and this Judge Mazzy, gives her the same sentencing that Michael got last year. One last thing I wanted to cover in this video is Gino. He's the father of the youngest daughter of Angela, Pollina. He spoke out yesterday to the Patch, and I wanted to go through that article here. Dad of Pollina daughter speaks on Thomas Valva trial. Disgusted. I've had the brief opportunity to speak with him a bit, and I'm hoping to try to get him on the channel shortly, as well as another guest. So I'm trying to work on that. So bear with me, guys, on the guests angle of things. She deserves an eye for an eye. Gino Cali, the father of Angela Pollina's youngest daughter, describes how he felt in the courtroom. On the night before Angela Pollina, former fiancé of Michael Valva, an ex-NYPD officer convicted of murder in the death of his 8-year-old son, was slated to take the stand in her own defense Tuesday. The father of the youngest of her 3 daughters spoke out. Gino Cali, who has attended Pollina's proceedings, said he believed the trial was moving very fast. The prosecutors are an amazing team and wonderful people. The only thing I can say, Gino, is I really hope that this speed does not impact us getting a guilty verdict for her. That's my only concern. He did, however, say he wished the prosecution had used some of his daughter's statements that she shared with them. Kelly described the experience of being in the courtroom. It feels good and it feels bad too. It feels good to see her finally getting what she deserves. But the reason we are there is hard to deal with. I feel every emotion. Happiness in that my daughter is where she belongs. Then I feel mad it took a child to die. It's a roller coaster of emotions. I'm disgusted when I read what Tommy went through. Being in the courtroom, seeing it myself, made me sick to my stomach and cry. Valva and Pollina were arrested back on January 24th, 2020, and charged with second-degree murder and 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. Each faced 25 years to life in prison, and both pleaded not guilty. Jurors convicted Valva of second-degree murder and 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a child in Thomas's death. The boy froze to death in the Centro Marich's garage. Valva was sentenced to 25 years to life behind bars. Knowing what my daughter had to deal with and see breaks my heart, Callie said. She's the one who saw Tommy dying that morning. So she is the one that saw him. That's horrible. All of these children went through a traumatic things on different levels in that house. I hope the outcome is the harshest punishment. 25 years to life with no possibility of parole. She deserves an eye for an eye, honestly. 100% agreed. His daughter, he said, is doing amazing. She's progressing and healing wonderfully. I'm really glad to hear that. She has a good head on her shoulders despite what she went through. She is nothing like Angela. She's a good human being and is thriving. She shared stories with my girlfriend and is open about everything. She writes in a journal, too. She is made Student of the Month and does great in school. She has many friends. She's the best big sister to my girlfriend's 3 children and is their second mommy. We are beyond proud of her, and she's a warrior. Thomas is our hero. I am so glad to hear that she's doing well. That these kids are doing well. I think that's the best thing that can come out of this besides these guilty verdicts. Matthew Toohey, Pollina's defense attorney, told Patch that Pollina will take the stand after the prosecution rests his case, which of course we know. And she was the only witness he has. All right, and he's maintaining her innocence. Let's see. All right, Kelly said he believes this defense is a joke for many reasons. And he said he believes Angela is a monster. Yep, and he knows her personally, guys. We don't know her, and he knows her. He had a child with her. Thank gosh this kid's doing okay. Opening arguments were heard last week. Since then, teachers and the principal from East Moriches Elementary School have offered emotional testimony, as they did in Valva's trial, describing the boys who came to school bruised, soaked in urine, starving, and always cold. All right, detectives and others who responded to the home have also testified. All right, let's sift through here, see what else is in here. Again, a lot of this stuff is a bit repetitive. Oh, okay. She's going to walk on the murder charge because Michael Valva committed all 3 stages of the acts. Despite bad prior acts, behavior, and treatment of the boys, she had no part in his death. In fact, when the boy was in distress, she tried to help him in all 3 stages, in contrast with someone who acts with depraved indifference, Toohey said. Wow. If he actually believes that, again, wow. During Valva's trial, one witness, a plumber, said he saw Pollina throw a child down the stairs. There was also evidence shown of the text reflecting Pollina's frustration with the incontinence of Thomas and his older brother, and her stating that she did not want them in the house. Valva's defense team painted an image of Valva as a man stressed over finances, who had nowhere to go with his boys, and if he had to leave the home, he shared with Pollina. Yeah, he had some issues, but she is, oh no, she's just as bad or worse than Michael. No, not buying any of it. All right. And of course they're mentioning about how they had to sleep in the garage, and about Justina's $200 million wrongful lawsuit, which I hope she gets every penny. So again, that was hearing from Gino, who is the father of the youngest, right there. That's him on the left with his girlfriend. And I'm really glad that she's doing well. I really am. And I will see if I can find out how the other two are doing. Again, the daughters, there's twins, and then there's the youngest who's Gino. That's his daughter. So I'm curious how the other two are doing, and I'm going to see if I can find out. And from what I can tell, the other two boys, Andrew and Anthony, are doing well with Justina. And of course, she's moved out of the country, so she's not in the United States, although she may have returned back and forth to do any legal things. I don't know. But she makes her comments on her Facebook page, and as of right now, we all need to respect that. And when she's ready to speak further, I'm sure she will. And she always, always, always has a forum here if she ever wants to speak out. I would be more than happy to post anything she would like to post, or if she would love to come onto the channel and do a video or do a live. My channel is always welcome to her. So, Justina, there's an open invitation for you here on True Crime with Shannon. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Again, there's probably a little more testimony that is not covered here because, unfortunately, they don't have cameras or audio in the dang courtroom. And like I said, I'm going to include a link about cameras in New York City, New York State and City courtrooms in the information of this video. Please go check it out. They're working on getting that approved because these are the kind of cases that we all need to be seeing, okay? We had the big Alex Murdaugh trial that everyone got to see. And then you have these trials like this, getting justice for little Tommy, and practically nobody knows about it. You know, it's well known in Riverhead and Long Island, and the Santa Maricias area, and I'm sure throughout some of New York State. But it's not known really anywhere else. And this little boy, should be, his story needs to get out. Not only because of what happened to him here with these horrific father and his future step monster, but also due to another CPS, situation. It's another one, and it compiles it, and that's something else I'll be covering in the future. CPS failures. There's just so many. I don't even think I could possibly list them all, even if I found out. We have little Tommy, we've got Harmony, and the list goes on. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you. I really, really do. And leave me a comment about this. And I'm loving all you guys' comments telling me how much you don't like Angela. I agree with every single one of them. I don't think anybody likes her except maybe herself. But hey, anyway. So, all right, have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.